shifting their mindset around their finance functions from compliance into performance?
Well, the shift has really picked up steam with the CECL standard, or the International IFRS 9 expected credit loss standard. And compliance was really the focus throughout the Dodd-Frank years, last 10 or 12 years. But as risk and finance have become more and more integrated through the CECL standard and the rollout of that, I think a lot of CFOs are now looking at the rest of their finance toolkit, if you will, and looking to take advantage of the large amount of very detailed data, behavioral and risk data, and looking to turn that into higher profitability and a bigger return for their shareholders. So it's really picked up steam in the last 18 months.
Where does this transformation process start?
Really, it starts by looking at your core and your general ledger. At the end of the day, most people, when they look at that, they say, this isn't giving me what I need, right? We've met with CFOs, CCOs, and many executive leaderships, and they've said the core is not providing enough. But thinking about replacing or changing that is kind of like looking at heart surgery. You don't do that optionally. So what people are doing is creating a second layer, using technology like data lakes to then extend and have a second layer supporting finance, risk, and reporting applications that create better support for business decisions and driving action.
What kind of applications or analytics should banks consider using?
What we're seeing is that banks are looking closely at their planning and forecasting and balance sheet management systems. Traditionally, they've been separate. And so when you actually look at the forecast, they don't reconcile, and you spend all of the meeting talking about why they aren't the same. So leading banks are integrating these balance sheet management concepts, including cash flow modeling, funds transfer pricing, and risk incorporation within the P&L and the forecasting process. This leads to much more time spent on what am I forecasting and how can I drive better performance within my business versus the traditional discussions of why doesn't that tick and tie. So by incorporating these concepts, banks are actually driving decisions from the top of the bank down to the middle office and the front line to drive improved performance.
What are the best practices for banks when it comes to their finance functions?
The best practices generally revolve around having all of the very detailed information at your fingertips. So the least number of ETL processes and data all in one place are really critical. So a best practice is really to go to a general ledger that's part of your finance transformation, so that all of those postings happen within the new system, the second core layer. If you do that, you don't have that extra hurdle, the extra reconciliation. You can maintain that and just load the general ledger. You'll have the extra ETL, some extra reconciliations that go on between that and your reporting and analysis system, but it still gets you to the same place.